Hello and welcome to the Nordic Takedown podcast. My name is Jason the Captain Kirk, also known as Fun Daddy, and I'm here. I'm back. I hope you all didn't miss me too much. I am humble. Adam, you're here as well.
I am so here.
You still have 100% record.
Yep, it's keeping it strong.
Yep. Exactly. I'm the one running the team down, of course. Yeah. And we have a guest with us this week. We have the well-known in the Tobias Lind from the Swedish server, who has taken the first season by storm. Hey Tobias, welcome to the Nordic Takedown.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
You are very, very welcome here. Yeah, cool. So we're going to be talking about the final today and kind of breaking down what happened, why it was such a quick game. Seriously, I got a recording of the video and I was expecting it to be like 45 minutes long, a 2-1 thing, and it really, really wasn't this way. We won't spoil, for those of you who don't know, we won't spoil the result. But Adam is not looking happy right now, so that might have spoiled it already. But Tobias, yeah, welcome. We're gonna be getting to know you. We're gonna be talking about some news that we've got as a podcast, and then we'll talk about the games. Yeah, Tobias, you are Swedish.
Yes, I
am. More Swedish than myself, at least. But yeah, and you play Star Wars now. But what other games have you played? Introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Tobias Lind. I live in Stockholm, but I'm from Dalarna originally, but been living here for 6-7 years now. So been a while. Star Wars is my second card game. I started with Flesh and Blood like 3 years ago. Been really into Flesh and Blood the last couple of years. Been to a couple of pro tours. Been to a calling. Played the national championships and stuff like that. So yeah, had some success. Been able to travel some. But now I'm here and playing Star Wars, enjoying it a lot.
You've had quite a bit of success with Flesh and Blood, because I've been to Stockholm say twice to play Flesh and Blood, and I never met you there, but I've heard your name a lot during in the Flesh and Blood area, and so I was like, oh, is this the same Tobias Lind coming in to play Star Wars and ruining our day here as well? I was like, oh looks man, like I've got to choose another game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been going well. I have won a couple of ProQuest, or I won like 4 of them, which is ProQuest is how you qualify for the Pro Tour. Yep. So the winner of the ProQuest gets some invite. So yes, it's been. I've had some success. I had finished 33rd in the first Pro Tour.
Oh wow!
And then the second one not so good, but at least like the top third. First nationals we ran in Sweden. Like the game was still pretty new then, and people are pretty new. But I managed to snag a second place back then. So
oh wow!
I had a couple of good results. Yeah.
Which hero were you playing? Have you been the same class the whole time, or have you been?
I've been bouncing around a bit. First nationals I played on Bravo, and then after that I switched to Oldham and played Oldham for like the first ProQuest season, and that was just when, for everybody played Flesh and Blood knows this, but the infamous Starvo came around.
Okay.
But I still managed to qualify with Oldham, and then I switched to Starvo for the Pro Tour.
Yeah, but we don't talk about Starvo.
No, we don't talk. Yeah.
It makes Adam confused.
Yeah, no, it's also it's a meme on YouTube. It's a YouTube song about.
Oh, it's a fantastic video.
Yeah, it's so good.
They do it so well.
I played an off-brand version. I played a control version there because like that was kind of where I felt comfortable coming from an Oldham version.
Yep.
So played some Starvo and then back to Oldham, and then the last year it was mostly Icelander because I like the ice, the control, the more defensive, the more, and especially it's not like super defensive. It's mostly like that I have options. I can control my opponent. I can make them do stuff they don't want to do. And ice in that is like opponent pays more to do stuff. Like, yeah.
But I mean, I think the Control Icelander game is very much like the Cunning in Star Wars. Like you've really got to control. It's control/disruption, so that then you can do what you want to do as well.
Yeah,
and
it is. I also like the vigilance, like where you can like just take out units. Like you can play on an axis that they don't want to be. You can disrupt their game plan. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Icelander was my first deck I played, and I realised that it was just really difficult coming as a new player, as well. So it's quite sad. I unsleeved my Icelander deck yesterday because I needed inner sleeves for Star Wars, and it was a little bit sad actually, kind of pulling these cards out and realising how much I paid for them then and how much they're worth now. Made me cry a little bit, but yeah. So you went on to Icelander and stuff as well. So that's good. Yeah, that's good because it kind of tells a little bit about the kind of player you are as well.
Yeah, I also played Lexi for one of the callings I played in.
Well, who didn't?
There was like one event there where like Lexi was just the thing to play. I managed to snag a top 32, but it was a good event.
Cool.
So,
that's cool. No, that's great. I know we're going to want too much about Flesh and Blood already, I know, but then they talked about Destiny for the first 15 minutes last week, so I think that's okay.
I don't know anything about Destiny more than
exactly.
You used big dice, which is like weird, but
I know. I mean, it's a card game or board game. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the perfect combination of both, and everyone knows it. Let's move on.
Exactly. This is the quietest Adam's been for the last I don't know how many episodes that we've done. So anyway, so then you so Flesh and Blood into Star Wars.
Yeah. So I've been following like most of the card games, like seeing what's happening, what's bouncing up, what's showing up. Never really found anything else except Flesh and Blood that I like felt like this was a good game. Like I saw Lorcana, I was looked at that, just like no. Same with One Piece. Like most games have good stuff, but I never felt the pull from it. But Star Wars has the IP, but I was really hesitant because everybody know the FFG's like history, and also before I played. Before Flesh and Blood, I played Star Wars Legion, which is the miniature game that also originally was FFG.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that not FFG anymore?
No, they moved it to Atomic Mass.
Okay, of course. Yeah,
which is still they did. They did that. They did that switch with all the miniature games, and for me, that really ruined the game because they took it in a different direction than I was looking for, and like. I'm a competitive player. That's the niche I enjoy. Yeah. Like I enjoy the grind. I enjoy the competitiveness. I enjoy the trying to see what I can do and what I can figure out and stuff like that. Like it's not about winning. It's mostly about seeing what I can do and like if I can like I'm chasing perfection, not like the wins or losses. It's just like more that I can feel that I'm doing something really well. And when Atomic Mass they wanted to make Star Wars Legion more of a casual game, more easy to get into, more open to new players, and change some rules, which took the fun away from me. So so I was kind of hesitant when I heard about Star Wars Unlimited with Fantasy Flight, and never really paid any attention because like no, it's not going to be for me.
Yep.
But now I'm here.
I mean, now you're here, and you for me, you kind of hit the stage with the Chirrut deck that I think I played against you in the league early on as well. So I've kind of played against the deck that you played with in the final, and I was just like, it's Chirrut, it's easy. I mean, everyone's talking down Chirrut. Like,
that's how everyone sees Chirrut.
Like, I couldn't really see, what can come of it. And then I just got absolutely destroyed, did not take him down quick enough. And then for somehow we had like 3 lightsabers or something stupid like that. And he didn't. It was, it just felt like it. And I just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, you were in your Chewie deck and I could one-shot him with Chirrut and you were like, but but this guy is big. How did you do this?
I know. Oh, that was when I realized that Chewbacca needs work.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of do Chewbacca as it stands today, but we're not talking about Chewie today. At least not yet, anyway.
Not yet. We'll see.
Yeah, but yeah. So now you're in Star Wars. Were you playing a little bit on Star Wars before the release day? Because I know Adam was like playing you months.
Yeah, I played at least. I started to grind it harder a few weeks before release. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But Tobias, were you on TTS playing around, or wasn't until like release day when you?
Not at all. It was actually during pre-release weekend. It started to pop up in my feeds, and I was like, I was away on a work trip that weekend. So like in the evening when you get back to your hotel room and just like you don't have anything to do, and then just people starting to. I just saw the forums like Facebook, the Discords, like people just started chatting about the pre-release. I was like, why is people excited? Like this is a Fantasy Flight games, like it can't be. And then I just like I need to shake it out, and I started to just like read articles, watch YouTube, and I was like, this might be something here. And the week after, I got like 1 or 2 games in on TTS, and I was like, damn,
yeah,
it's fun. This is interesting.
Is this Fantasy Flight game?
Yeah, exactly. And then
that's how they lure you. They start with a very fun and good game, and then they take it in another direction.
Yeah, we'll see. And then I managed to get down to a draft, and I've been like with all my accomplishments from Flesh and Blood, I've never been good at the limited game and never really enjoyed the limited game. It's just like it's always been for me. It's like I've been forced to play draft to be able to play constructed events.
Yeah.
Because at the Pro Tour they do mixed format, so you do draft.
You have to draft at least 3 rounds of the 9 or something. Yeah,
exactly. So it's been like the thing I have to do to be able to participate. But then I joined one of the local draft, and something just clicked during the draft. Like when I was sitting down for game 2, and instead of feeling like you sometimes do in Flesh and Blood, where you're just playing cards that you don't really want, but you need them because you need to fill out the deck. Yeah. Here was like, I was on a Leia yellow. Yeah. I had no idea. Like I'd never played Leia. I didn't know what yellow cards did. But all of a sudden I just laid down cards and just stuff started to happen. And I was like, every card is fun to play, no matter like, there is no like, in Flesh and Blood, they often talk about the bananas, like the yellow cards that nobody really wants, and you get them late in the draft because no one wants them because they don't give you resources and they don't give you power, but you still like play them. But here, like you didn't have those cards, so like everything was interesting. Like every card you had a reason to be there, and so and then I was like, I need to look into this deeper, and then rabbit hole just went deeper.
Nice. It's so much fun to draft this game. Like, Flesh and Blood was the first game I drafted as well, and I was like the Heavy Hitters was the last one I did, and I did not enjoy it because I just kept on getting so many Brute cards, and I don't enjoy playing Brute. I don't know how to play Brute. I don't know how to play Guardian, and so I was just like, okay, I forced myself to have a Cat Eye deck because I really want to play Cat Eye, and I know how Warrior plays, and this was like, well, I just didn't. I found it really tough. I've drafted Star Wars twice now.
I'm still waiting for my first. It's going to be on Lincoln, so that's 1.5 week away.
Okay, yeah, but just the excitement of going. Okay, before you even start looking at cards, you've already decided one of the 3 heroes. You know which kind of direction you have to go.
Oh yeah.
And then you can start going through maybe the first round of each packet. You're going to take the legendary anyway because they're the money cards.
Exactly.
And then you can start
win back your money.
Going there. I'm just going like, I sucked both times. The deck was not functional, but at least you have fun doing it.
Yeah, and I really enjoy like just because I've been like when you want to perform at the Pro Tour, you really need to like dive as deep as you can in like even the draft portion. So I've done a lot of reading, like there was a really good MTG article that was called "Drafting the Hard Way," which I really liked. It's like about reading signals and stuff like that, which I really like took to heart when I started drafting, when I tried to figure it out. And when I did that during the draft now, I got rewarded for it.
Okay.
And I kind of never felt that I did in Flesh and Blood the same way. And like, sure, that is a Magic article, so Magic is a lot closer to Star Wars Unlimited than it is to Flesh and Blood, like a lot closer, because this, like, you go 2, 3, and 4 resources, you have the colors, stuff like that, so it's a lot easier to like compare them. But you could really feel that like the theory behind it was all of a sudden felt sound, and you could like, okay, yeah, you can do this. I can figure this out. So
amazing.
Yeah,
it was good. You have to, if you can find the article, we'll have to try and link that in as well. I want to read that because I
can find it and send it to you later.
That'll be cool. Like, if we get that in before we go live with this, that'll be fantastic.
So I can win the draft at Lincoln. Yeah, that sounds good.
Exactly. Well, we won't let Adam have it. We need to give other people a chance, right?
I still haven't won anything yet.
I mean, you've been to one tournament, Adam. Awesome. Right. Well, let's that's really awesome. That's a really, really good kind of advert for the game as well, and getting into the game. So thank you for that and sharing your experiences there. We're going to talk about the final and get into those the actual decks that you played before. Actually, no, I did have one more question. Apart from Chirrut, which you did play here, what other heroes and decks have you built or are you wanting to explore? Like, what's your favorite aspect of the 4 colors?
I think I'm still trying to figure that out. Okay. So the first aspect that I looked at, which just spoke to me, was vigilance. With the blue, and also I just straight away looked at heroism, because like for me, I don't know this, but like when I watched Phantom Menace as a kid, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, like that was like my hero growing up. I was like, I want to be that guy. Of course, it's like you cannot be a Jedi, but you can play that. That's why you play a game. Like, that's the reason. So I just saw that if you play blue heroism, you can play Luke and you can play Chirrut. So I was like, okay, that's me. But yeah, now I've been playing a lot of Chirrut, but I also have a Luke green deck that I'm working on. I'm not really there yet on it. I don't really know if it has the tools yet. And I'm also been like slowly looking more and more at cunning, because like you said about like the way it plays, it does have a lot of fun tricks and a lot of fun things you can do. I'm not really sold it works with the like the Jedi Force packages that I'm looking at right now, at least. So that's mostly where I've been staying out of it. But yeah, I do think all the colors are really interesting. Okay.
Okay, no, that's great. That's just, I realised I wanted to ask that earlier and I completely forgot. So
no.
Now we've talked about that. We've got, so we're going to be returning to the game and stuff later, but we have some news as the Nordic Takedown. Adam, do you want to?
I can announce that. I've been quiet.
You can announce that. You have been quiet. We'll let you use your new microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
How are we going to pay for this new microphone?
Yeah,
how are we going to pay this?
You should see my dramatic face. Now when I'm ruined, obviously, for this expensive microphone that I haven't really used in this episode until now, so I'm going to stretch this monologue a little bit longer.
Comment it was half price. I mean,
hey man, people didn't have to know that. But we are actually opening a Patreon now. We've been talking about it for the last 8 episodes or something. With basically the possibility of just supporting us if you like what we do. There is also, we're going to have a goal. If we have a certain amount of subscriptions or money coming in, we're going to start to do more and more YouTube clips. Because we have also opened a YouTube channel to be able to produce some content, including a Discord and with the goal to be like the European gathering point, basically, for Star Wars Unlimited, which we hope will take on. We will link all these things here, maybe, in the description.
We'll try to link,
I'm looking at Jason because I have no idea how to do it. But
and we will be linking, because you mentioned the YouTube channel as well. We at the moment on YouTube, this is going through my own YouTube channel, The Captain's Deck, because I'm still kind of producing very much of that, so I'm still producing as Captain's Deck to have my little stamp on there. But we will be going through the Nordic Takedown YouTube channel now, so that it's easier to find and stuff like that as well. And just as much, we'll also be plugging I Am Humble on your YouTube channel as well, because it's
I think I'm gonna translate it more into the Nordic Takedown to make it less confusing for everyone involved.
Of course. But we will be moving that over into the Nordic Takedown YouTube thing as well, and just kind of being there. And I'm still working on the logo. The logo is coming. Please still be susceptible to the Force for seeing the amazing logo that will be there in that place. But yeah, so that the stuff, and obviously, like, you know, there are a few little costs that we're taking on ourselves to
of course,
produce this as well. So hopefully that will, you know, Patreon subscribers, that will, you know, cover those costs, but also go towards, okay, we can invest in some merchandise, or we can invest in some kind of other material going forward. It gives us the encouragement to do more stuff and get in contact with the better players in the area like Tobias, and try and collaborate there and do some fun stuff.
And hopefully, like, we can both be targeting like casual players, but also make a good competitive environment for like basically all European players that aspire to be better. So just check it out, and it will grow. We need to be more than 2 or 3 to like really challenge each other and test a lot of decks and play styles. So that's gonna be it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Cool. So if you're listening from Europe, if you're listening anywhere in the world,
Americans are welcome to
come in as well. But especially if you're if you're listening in Europe, come introduce yourselves. Let us know what the scene is like in your area, in your country, in your area. That'd be really cool. We're born in the Nordics, but you know, we want to reach our.
We want to expand, you know, like what's called the Swedish grand times, or stormaktstiden.
Exactly. So
exactly.
So we'll put the links in there. That's the case, and there is one as well, which is like a coaching tier as well that we put on there, but that's more of a, we don't expect people to be paying for that every single month, but maybe you pay for 1 month and you get some coaching in there. But I don't know if you want to say more about that.
Well, it will be like a little bit designed from the desire of the person who wants to be coached. Is it a preparation for a tournament, or do you just want to become a better player? But it will be like a few hours, like maybe a week or a month, depending on like how we're gonna put it out and how much work we have to do behind the scenes. You know.
And right now and in the near future, this coaching will be coming from Adam, not myself. So don't worry about that. I'm still coming from the casual corner of this podcast. So that's our big news. Please come and support us. Please come and chat to us. Please come and, you know, it's a place to give your feedback, give ideas of stuff that you want to hear. We get encouraged by having that as well. Cool. The next thing, what do we want to talk about now?
I think aren't we supposed to go to the league thing? Talk about
Let's go to the league thing as well. There are a couple of spoilers that I got excited about seeing. A new version of Waylay, and Bo-Katan Kreitzer was spoiled today as well. But let's talk about that afterwards, because now we've had that little kind of reclame advertisement interlude. Let's start talking about what happened, Adam.
what happened in the league?
In the league,
we can just start with that we had Swedish league the first season. It just wrapped up. We had like a playoff. We did like kind of an esports playoff with the top 2 getting buys and to the semifinals, and then we had the quarterfinals. It was a generous top cut because there was one person coming in as a 2-2 with a not even winning record. And I guess we have him here today as the winner. So why don't you talk about your run?
Wow.
You can start with your first game or something.
So I came into the top cut like I talked about before. I've been experimenting some with Luke Green, and for some reason I decided that my last game in Swiss was let's try the Luke Green deck that I'm not sure about. Let's see how that works. It didn't work. So I got the 2-2. I was like, okay, yeah. So I missed the top cut, but that happens. And then somehow I sneaked in. And I was like, yeah, let's get back to the good deck. And I registered Chariot Red. And I got a rematch in the first round against Han Green. Which can be a really if they hit like Ewing, like they're at like when they get to 5 resources, they like ramp up to 7 Ewing, and then Ewing the turn after, you kind of like dead. If they don't, I feel it's a pretty good matchup for Chariot. Because you can get Chariot out there, you can get him kitted up, and he can take care of both Han and both the leader and the unit, which is kind of the late game for that deck. And if you can do that, you can swarm the board and win, which is kind of what happened in the semis or in the quarters.
Nice. So was it the 2-0 or was it 2-1? How did it go? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I need to go back to the. I think it was a 2-0, but I'm not solid. It could be.
Yeah, it's okay. You won it either way. I should have looked that up. I am the host of the tournament. I could have been more prepared. What did you face in the semis then?
Oh yeah, it was the Krennic deck.
Yeah, it was Krennic in the semis. Yeah.
Yeah, which is what I'm like super scared of. Like I'm the Krennic Green, especially Krennic Green. Like Sabine Green is kind of similar, but Krennic I feel is even worse for Chariot because he's got such a big butt at 7 that it's really hard to get a hold of him, and if he gets those resupplies going early, so he comes out a turn before Chariot can get there, he starts healing, gets the the green 5/5 that comes in plus 2.
Steadfast battalion.
Yeah, the steadfast gets in there, and like so when you get Chariot out there, he clears your board, and you're catch up, and also with black green or black blue, they have the part of the dark side, which is like one more way to kill Chariot.
Yeah.
But again, I just drew hot. I just there is like sometimes this has happened a couple of times for me, like in card games. It's just like I don't really know what it is, but some games I just go in there and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna win this game unless, and then I just turn my brain off because I know the unless, and I just look for that. I don't care about anything else. I just go, and they're like, I go into autopilot and I play fast, and sometimes that throw people off because I know the only thing that matters is one thing. So I just play everything else as fast as possible because I want to get to that one thing. And people probably makes mistakes or whatever, but yeah, it worked out. I did that one thing. I just swarmed the board, and he didn't find his resupply, and I just kill him, which happens. It happened a couple of times during the Flesh and Blood career also, where I can just point to games where like, okay, this game is a loss unless this happens, and I just go on autopilot and just go 100%.
Try to find that,
yeah, and I don't really have the patience to sit there for like 45 minutes knowing I'm going to lose. So I might as well play as fast as possible and find that thing, because if I not find it, I might as well concede, because the game is already over.
Yeah, and not wasting time for either yourself or the opponent. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Very humble.
Well, that's your job.
Could have been.
But yeah, no, that's great. So that was your semi-final, Tobias.
Yeah, exactly. That was the semi-final, and then
then we have the final, which we will.
Then we have the final.
Dissect
we'll talk about it in just a second.
All 15 minutes.
Yeah. So your journey, Adam, to where we got to from the semi.
Yeah.
So you skipped the quarterfinal because
because I was 4-0 in the Swiss. So I was the number 1 buy basically. So I got to face Sea Wahlsten, another guy from Stockholm. Who played a lot of Star Wars Destiny as well. He won a Nordic championship. So we were both playing Boba. So that was like a Boba Green Mirror, which also went pretty fast. It was a 2-0 for me. Like I think I hit the resupplies and he got the Superlacial Technicians, which I could ignore and like just win by having like my Boba out first. So he had to like hope that I don't have Steadfast Battalion, which I had. So it was kind of unfair in that sense. Not sure if he chose to play like a Superlacial over like the resupplies, but otherwise it was like I drew better and went to the final basically. So that was my run.
That was your journey. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then so you played Boba Green, which is it a standard Boba Green, you'd say?
At that tournament, yeah. Because I had not been playing it enough to start tinker around. Tobias and I has played a lot lately, and it's not really the same deck anymore. But obviously it still has its core.
Yeah. And then now, and I kind of got that question out of the way first, because the standard Boba Green, most people know what's in there.
Yeah.
Chirrut
Red, Tobias.
Yes.
Tell us about this deck.
Yeah, so it's not my deck by any means. Like,
have you tweaked it? Have you tweaked it at all since?
Yes, I've been working with it. Like, I work in it every time I play. I'm still working on the deck. But the original inspiration came from the YouTube Woo, so WOOO. I don't know how many, but yeah. So he posted it. He was like, "This is the best force throw deck," and I was like, "Yeah, force throw is an awesome card." And I started looking at it, and so there's the original inspirations. Like he made the groundwork for the deck. At least what I know, he maybe took it from somewhere else, but that's where I learned it. And I've been tweaking, finding stuff, trying stuff. But yeah, it's like. You're using the traditional like red Rebel package with the A-Wings, the Sabines, K2SO. You have like that kind of package, and then you also have the Force Vigilance package. So you have the removal from Vigilance. You have a couple of takedowns, some make an opening, stuff like that. But you also have like the big thing about that deck is the Force cards, like the Force synergies. Like I heard the developers in an interview say that the strongest trait in the game was
the Force.
Yeah. And I was like, I didn't really understand it, but then the more I play this deck, the more like, yeah, it is, because cards like Force Throw, you pay 1, an opponent discard a card, and then you deal damage also. Like it is. Because you have a force user out, and also it binds all things where you heal something and you remove and you move it to someone else. So it's like it's an heal and removal in the same card for 2. It's just super efficient, and also the force is with me.
I love that card.
which gives you like it's a fleet lieutenant, but it gives you a shield if you have, and permanent +2 because you get the experience.
Yeah.
So, and all of those cards, like turret really makes them tick, because the hardest part is you need to control a force user, and turret just sits there and they like, I deal 200 damage to him and he just still sits there and you can play the cards.
Yeah.
You can play it like, the only thing that kills him is like a vigilance or power of the dark side, but everything else is just like, you're guaranteed gonna be able to play your cards, which is just so strong.
Yeah, and the extra healing.
Yeah, there is a lot of healing. Yeah, you have healing with cards like Yoda, you top end redemption. The Luke legendary, which is just an awesome card. So there's a lot of like restoring the vigilance. So you have game into most things. You have outs. You at least have a way to win every game, even though you're not favored into everything, which I really like. But you're not favored into anything, or maybe some things, but you're not like super favored. But you need to play. But I like that kind of style.
You need to play good, like in every matchup. You cannot truly autopilot everywhere.
No, exactly. Like there's no game, almost no games where I just run away with it, or at least no matchups where I always run away with it, because you always need to go. I go into every game a bit nervous, which is really fun, because then it's like
then you're going to perform.
It's like the chase of doing something really well, which I think you get a chance to do with this deck.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And like playing that game where you completely destroyed me and I was completely unprepared for it, despite not really focusing on my Chewbacca deck, was making me realize that actually maybe going Force with my Chewbacca and using Forces with me and building a little bit more around there and going, Jarrus, Luke, etc., might be more the way to go for the Chewbacca and the blue and the Vigilance. And that card was like, oh my goodness, that card is so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
And it made me realize just how much there, and just from a different deck there, as well. So that one took me by surprise. And like, I think you took the tournament by surprise here as well. No, let's focus on the final. What happened?
What happened?
I mean, so what happened? Because I was looking I watched the video, which we'll probably get out on the YouTube channel or sometime. This is coming from, Adam was recording, so it was coming from his hand.
I was really confused why. No, okay.
Yeah, and so I was kind of watching his stuff, and actually, the first game, it felt pretty like you ramped up, okay. You got an early Boba out, and you went there instead of the super laser to maybe to not do that.
Yeah,
but then Tobias, you were getting the hits in really early and really quickly.
Yeah,
if I remember right, you really got the space cards, and I drew no space cards, so it was like a rush that I was losing.
Yeah,
basically.
When you like it, that's the thing. When you have the Red Rebel package, like you have the A-Wings, like those cards are so efficient.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah.
If you can get them down and the opponent doesn't have removal or anything that they can put in space that can just slow you down, you're just sitting there and hitting them for 3-3-3-3, and if you get a wing leader down, you're hitting them for 5-5-5-5 instead. So it's just so much damage.
And you did that. You got a wing leader and A-wing down straight away. And actually, like looking, I've got the recording up on here. Like Adam, you resourced a Cartel Space from the 7th Fleet Defender in the first game, first hand. So at that point, obviously, you didn't know that Tobias was going to go full space. Yeah. But I noticed once again, okay, he's resourced 2 space cards straight away.
Yeah.
And that's something I've really picked up on. And I was like, is he going to pay for that?
Kind of. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think I was choosing between, am I going to play Boba or am I going to play the 7th Fleet Defender? And I chose the Boba, apparently. And then I went for the 2-drop Crafty Smuggler, I assume, or Greedo, over the Cartel Spacer, right? Because the Cartel Spacer is not that good.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a later.
Yeah.
You need to play it with something out. Yeah,
it would still have been better to have some space to answer, even though, especially the 7 Fleet Defender, because that one can actually knock things out. Yeah,
7 Fleet Defender is really good. The Cartel Spacer doesn't do that much in a matchup because, like, if you try, even if you attack one of the A-wings, you only take 1 damage, and the A-wing stays there with 1 HP. I just Tarkin Town it, and then I just keep going in space. So that card doesn't really do anything, as you need the bigger threats there.
I mean, Cartel Space is really good later in the game, or like mid-game, where you can it's just a quick 2-drop that you can put at the first turn if you already got stuff out to actually to do the disruption, rather than 1 turn. Okay, yes, it's a 2-drop. Yes, it's a first turn if you've got nothing else.
Yeah.
But,
So yeah, that was more my thinking, and I was like kind of hoping that he didn't have like full space, like that he had like a mix, because like nobody can match Boba on ground. So if he like gets forced by his hand to go ground, I'm probably winning the game. That was my theory.
Yeah, until Chirrut comes out.
Yeah, but it takes a while before Chirrut can do anything against Boba. Unless he gets a lightsaber or something. Because like if I ramp, Boba is out there 1 turn before Chirrut, and Boba is a little bit nastier unit than Chirrut, I would say. At least if you count him coming 1 turn earlier as well.
Yeah, if you can ramp into Boba is really giving you the value that Chirrut really can't fight with. So
yeah.
But
game 1, you managed to get his lightsaber on Chirrut the turn after as well. But what is that something you always look out for with Chirrut? Like you make sure you hold back a lightsaber. Like how many upgrades do you have for him in the deck?
So I usually run 2 or 3 of the forces with me, and then the 3 lightsabers, and then you also run 2 or 3 wing leaders. So there's a couple of ways to get him there. You cannot really I think that in the version I played in the Top Cut, I was also experimenting with some electrostaffs, because the 2 cost pairs really well. Like you can play Fleet Lieutenant or a Wing Leader, and then the electrostaff, like at the 5 resources, which when it's kind of your power turn when you get Chirrut out there. So you want as many ways as possible to pair. Like a 3 cost and a 2 cost works really well.
Sure.
So I have some couple of stuff like that, but also like the game, like Swu is really like units doesn't stick around that long, and if they do, you usually win. So you can't really go that hard on units, because if you go too hard on units and like give them too much, like you care about them and you want to kit them up and give them a cool upgrade, and you want them like, and then they just die without doing anything. It's like just such a waste of value. So I don't think you can go that more than that. Like on this deck, I had 2 electrostaffs, and I feel that was wrong. Maybe 1, but not more than that.
Especially if you have the lightsabers anyway. I mean, electrostaffs are great for the -1 that the attacker gets.
Yeah, electrostaff is more for like. I think you want it on like if you can get it on an Obi-Wan or stuff like that. That's kind of where it shines. But it still is okay on Chirrut. Like +2/+2 is fine.
Yeah, but I mean, you need to buff Chirrut as much as you can to give him the staying power, because he's almost like the rule, the exception that proves the rule with the unit thing you talked about. Like having Chirrut on the board is so powerful, but the rest of the units aren't. But it's interesting you say that as well, because when I play against new players, they're like really protecting. Like, oh no, you just killed this unit, and I was like, don't worry about it. I'm going to kill the rest of them as well. Like, after a few games, you kind of realize, well, you need to keep getting the units out, because they're just going to disappear. And if you don't have units, then you're dead. So it's the case. Yes, you've got to protect them, but you've got to you've got to get not be attached to them, like you said. So yeah, no, that's a good reflection there. So and then you got to like 22, and then what the killing blow was in the first game was, I'm just trying to kind of forward here. There's no sound, so I'm not really sure what was actually happening. And
we were playing pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly. But you got a Vader out, Adam, and then I think it was next turn.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, it was like a kind of, I felt kind of over as long like when I didn't do any like space thing because I couldn't raise him.
Yeah,
and I don't think I drew a barrage either to sink the ships.
No. Okay, yeah. No, I'm just trying to. What was what ended the first game?
I think it was just me counting that.
There you go, because you had 25 bases. I missed that as well. Yeah. So obviously he killed you with Obi-Wan. Yeah. When you couldn't protect. Yep. Cool. Okay. Well, that was game one. Is there anything else you guys want to say about game one before we move on?
No.
I felt the thing on the back foot.
Yeah. If Chirrut gets the space and there is nothing there, then you just deal so much damage. It's a rebel aggro deck. Like you can play that role if you want to or need to. So
yeah. He comes out and he goes fast. Cool. How did game two go then?
A lot better until the 5 resource round, I would say.
I kind of had the similar start with an A-wing into wing leader. So I felt pretty comfortable, but Adam really he had a better plan game two, and he got the cards down.
Yeah,
but then he got greedy.
I got greedy. I was like, if I had 2 moves basically on the wing leader, because I had both waylay and treacherous. Like I can waylay and stabilize the game, and like probably win, or I can treacherous, and if he doesn't have any answer to it, I will auto win. Like I will win on the spot basically.
Taking an A-wing with 2 experience tokens is just auto win.
Yeah, so like. The smart play is obviously to waylay, because my deck, I think it has a slightly better late game. Like if we stabilize, I should be winning. But I got greedy. I was like, I'm taking this. I'm banking on he doesn't have it. Let's go to game 3. But obviously he had sideboarded in, which I knew he had. Like there was no, I was not surprised by it, but. Becomes a Fang fighter, and obviously then I've spent 5 resources for nothing. Then I auto lost the game instead.
No, I'm just seeing here turn 3 traitorous comes out and you take the A-wing. Yeah.
Next play is the disabling Fang fighter.
Yeah,
disabling Fang fighter. Yeah, there we go. Then the traitorous just, because traitorous is such a strong card, but you've got to be able to do something like with it. It's such annoying to be played against you. Like the amount of times I think twice in the Quiver tournament, I had to use a waylay on. No, it wasn't that tournament. It was another one where I felt I kept having to using waylay on to get my own characters back into my hand, get my own units back into my hand.
Yeah,
because they've been taken away by treacherous, and it's like I had more different plans for that one. Like waylay is such a good card. I think you did that to me, Tobias. Actually, well, you took my Kane and Jarrus or something. I'm not sure. That could have been a different game. I remember someone taking a Jarrus that was pretty beefed up, and then I had to waylay him back.
I hope not, because that is cheating.
Take it. Yeah, you cannot take him. You can only take 3 cost units.
Oh no! Okay, there was something. It was something else. It was a Palpatine. It was a Palpatine.
Okay,
and then I had to waylay him. That's the one. Anyway, that's we don't need to talk about that. But you little tangent there. Chewie is always going to come into conversation. What can I say?
He's ever present.
Exactly, he is. Or is it the moose that's ever present? You'll never know. I mean, you guys are just speeding through this game.
I know it's lost there, so I'm just playing it out. Maybe I.
Okay, yeah. Well, just because the traitors didn't work, and you just felt like
No.
as well.
I could have
Yeah. I mean, you made some strong plays afterwards here, Adam. Like, you managed to get the No Good to Me Dead out and
stall a little bit.
Stall cheer it there a little bit. But he got, like, is it force throw out? Straight away as well. I just felt like you had a lot of answers in the right place there, second game, Tobias.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. You just draw the correct cards at the correct time. And I think that was the game where Adam had... where he lost. Might be some. We played a lot of games together after that. But the thing is that when Red, like I like Red a lot because Red has sure you have the aggressive package with the Red Rebel aggro, which is like all the rage with Sabina, Leia Red and stuff like that, which is like a huge thing, but there is also like the things that you don't really think about in the aggressive package is like the upgrade destruction when you have you're not forced to play the crummy no aspect card confiscate, but you can play Fang Fighter instead, which is like a perfectly fine card to play. It's a 3/2 space unit, which is like it's fine. It's a fine card to play, but it also destroys upgrades. And then you have all the hand discard package with the force throw and K2SO also have that. Like most aggro players use him for the 3 damage. I love K2SO for the discard a card because the first time if you kill K2 or I kill him on one of your units and I discard your card, you're like, okay, I have a card I don't really need. But then the next turn, when I play the force throw, then you're all of a sudden, oh shit! Now I don't have any cards I don't need anymore. So like the second time in a game you need to discard a card, it really hurts. Because you don't have that redundancy in cards.
No, unless you play like Mon Mothma and stuff and like Hero Green, you don't have anything really.
It's only green that really has the a lot of tutors, a lot of redundancy, but all the other really struggles with hand size. And so if you can attack their hand and take away their options, and especially for sure where you also deal damage, it feels like cheating sometimes.
That's how
if it's written on the card, it can't be cheating.
Yeah, so it's mostly those things like the hand disruption and the equipment hates, which I really like about Red.
I mean, you're really hitting. I mean, just look at the end of the game too here. Like Adam, you even managed to No Good to Me Dead on Luke as well. You're really stalling him on the right things there.
I would have won straight after. Like I would have won that game too if I had Waylay. I'm quite convinced. But I didn't.
Cool. Well, congratulations, Tobias, for Season 1 champion.
Thank you.
Which also was a prize support of a Mace window.
Of a Mace window, which I also got it because I was going to buy that off of Adam if he won it. So you're selling Tobias.
No. That Mace window is already sleeved up, and he went straight into my Twin Suns deck.
Beautiful.
Because of course I'm running Red in Twin Suns because there you can run the absolute best card.
What's your
favorite? Is this your favorite card? What is the best card then?
The best cards, the best Twin Suns card is Force Surrender.
Yes.
So what you do is you have 3 Sentinels on board. You attack every person on the table during your six source round, and then you play Force Surrender. You draw 2 cards, and everybody else discards 2 cards because you hit their base.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, I was thinking, look at that card, thinking, man, that is huge for multiplayer.
Yeah, because every opponent's base you hit this turn, they discard 2 cards. So you just hit everybody. It's no problem.
Yeah. You're gonna be the public enemy number 1 after that play.
Yeah, they don't have any cards, so that's fine.
I really want to play. You guys might hate me, but you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, you don't have any cards, so that's fine. You can be mad if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, you're punching me? What? Is this allowed? Wait, it's deserved. I know. I really want to. I haven't tried Twin Suns, and I really, really want to. So I need to get some local players
Yeah, they need to like
test that out with me.
print some tokens for that and stuff, so people don't have to make
and
handcrafted.
get a 3D printer. Yeah. Support us on Patreon, and we can get a 3D printer and print off tokens. Yeah, there we go.
Sneak that in.
Cool. So, okay, Tobias. One big tip for players
that play Chirrut.
But play Chirrut or play Red or Vigilance or
I just so my tips are mostly coming from a competitive side, but if you want to develop as a card gamer, you really need to find people that are good at the game and play against them.
Yep.
That is kind of the big thing. You need to force yourself to play against good people, because I don't want to say it's a waste of time, but like a lot of games, if you just play games against people that like
also casual.
No, yeah,
or like Jason.
No, yes,
come on.
Not like that, but like the first time someone faces Chirrut, like I'm not getting anything out of the game because they're gonna be like, oh, what happened? And I just won the game because they didn't know what happened. But if they understand what Chirrut is doing, then they can start making game plans to beat it, and that's when you learn something, because then you need to figure out how to beat that game plan. So like just jamming games into people that doesn't know what you're doing doesn't help you. It just boosts your ego.
That's how I usually practice. I need a big ego before I go to a tournament. Just going through randoms.
What happened in Equipner?
I got egoed.
No, that's good advice. Yeah, play against people that you know are good.
Yeah.
Or you know what they're doing with their deck, for example.
Yeah.
Like if you gave me a Palpatine, I wouldn't know what I'm doing. If you give me a Leia, I'm pretty confident with Leia, for example.
Yeah, and that is like going back to when you talked about the Discord you were talking about. Just if you get a lot of good people in there, you don't need to know everything. If you find someone that is like, okay, this is the best Chewbacca player on the Discord, just send that guy a PM and say, I want to play into your Chewbacca because I need to learn it. Don't be afraid to find the meanest player on that deck that you need to practice against, because if you practice against that person, everybody else at your locals or your store championship or whatever is going to be a lot easier because you found the best player on that deck and you played against that player. So, yeah.
Good advice. Thank you. That's really, really strong advice. Cool. Adam, any advice from your experience in the final?
In the final?
Or in general?
In general, actually, don't get cocky, don't get greedy. Just because you have like momentum, it easily swings actually in Star Wars. Like small mistakes in Star Wars can snowball into like something major compared to other games I've been playing. Like, so I would say like you have to keep focus all game, and I would say that is the main advice. Even though it mostly applies to myself.
I mean, the advice to yourself is the strongest advice you can give.
So before we end this podcast, do you want to talk a little bit about the spoilers?
I was just thinking, maybe let's do like 5 seconds on the spoilers that we've seen in the last week. We've got. Let me just grab up the thing here as well, because I do want to like. There's like a spoiler. It's almost like weekdays. There's a spoiler every weekday at the moment. That
I have for sure not seen everything because I'm prepping for the store champions and all those things.
You're actually preparing for that, okay?
Yeah.
I need to catch up. Today's one was Bo-Katan Kryze, and she's a leader, red leader. And by the way, those of you who follow me on Twitter, @Runners2Win, if you find me there, if you look back at my tweets over the last couple of weeks, you'll see that I called this. Bo-Katan Kryze is going to be a leader using the Mandalorian, like,
I think you
synology
mentioned that,
within as well. So I called this. I don't call much, but I called this one. She's a red leader, red heroic action. If you attacked with the Mandalorian unit, this phrase, deal 1 damage to a unit.
Yeah.
So a little bit like Sabine, but you're damaging to the unit. It's a bit more control-y. And then when she's out, she's 6 cost 24/7 Mandalorian, of course. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to a unit. If you're attacked with another Mandalorian unit this phase, you may deal 1 damage to a unit, the same unit or a different unit. Excited?
Nah. Like she sounds a little bit like if there isn't a lot of Mandalorians, like I'm just comparing her to Boba, and she does feel weaker than Boba and comes out 1 turn later.
I'm comparing her to Vader because he has kind of the same ability where he ping damages people, but she's doing it in the Mandalorian tribal instead of just playing in villain.
Yeah.
So it's going to depend on the Mandalorians. Like it's not about the leader in that deck. It's all about like can you find a 50 card deck with really good Mandalorian units? Yeah. And if you can't, she's never going to be good. Like it's not about her at all.
It's a little bit like Hera with respect to units. Like,
exactly.
Units had to be good. It's like you said on Discord earlier. It's about the tribal stuff. They've got to be good. I mean, the Mandalorians we've got so far, Sabine.
Sabine is okay.
Sabine is okay. But is Boba actually got the Mandalorian?
I think it's only a bounty hunter.
Is he more bounty hunter? He's actually he's not actually Mandalorian. No,
he's like a clone.
Stole the armor.
Yeah.
One of the spoilers is Mandalorian.
Yeah, so then you've got the and then obviously the Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian legendary. Yeah.
The legendary as well. So there's not many Mandalorians done so far, but I'm guessing we get the armor.
Follow the way. The other
follow the way. Yeah. So I think there's going to be more coming, but they've got to be strong. They've got to be playable. They've got to be playable in red. I kind of wanted like another Hera kind of thing, like you can play any Mandalorian in the deck kind of thing, but with a little bit more. But that would be too strong. That would be way too strong if you can just bring all the Mandalorians together. But if you watch Mandalorian season 3, she's there to unite Mandalore.
Yeah,
just bringing the lore into it. There we go. Moving on. Spare the target. It's a tactic, 3 power, cunning, heroic. Return an enemy non-leader unit to its owner's hand. Collect that unit's bounty. Bounties.
Yeah, better waylay.
It's waylay that you can only play on the enemy.
Yeah,
but you also collect their bounties.
Yes.
I rarely do waylay on my own targets, so
yeah, me neither.
I do think that the one thing you need to think about, especially like from the last week where you have entrenched in Vader, like you cannot protect your own heroes, your own units that way. That is kind of the only thing. But yeah, if you have a single bounty in your deck, this is just a no-brainer.
Yeah. I think for me it's better than waylay because that's just how I use waylay. So I'm very excited about
and you can collect bounties as well. So
yeah,
and if bounties become a thing, it's going to be even stronger. And it also kills the Dr. Asian or something. What it was called.
I think the strongest thing about this card is that it is heroic, which means for a cause I believe in. So you can run like Yellow Sabine and do for a cause I believe in and run waylay, but it works with. I think that is like the strongest part of the card.
Yeah, cool. I like it. That's my 5 seconds. IG-11 is it's a unit, 5 power, aggression. 5 cost, aggression, 6 power, 5 health. Droid bounty hunter. If this unit would be captured, defeat him and deal 3 damage to each enemy ground unit instead. On attack, you may deal 3 damage to a damaged ground unit. Love this one because the flavor is just amazing.
The flavor is oozing. I love the flavor. I don't love the card, but I love the flavor.
But it's like you can't just capture. But that's the thing. It's like he's a strong unit. It only comes out of 5 cost, so that's pretty good. But like if he's captured.
Yeah,
he gets defeated and explodes.
So you just don't capture him, right? That is
exactly. But then you've got to be able to take him off, or he's gonna smash you.
I think I think that his problem is that his on attack trigger is so unreliable because most people doesn't run around with damaged units.
No, true.
And especially if you see him on the table and you have a damaged unit, you're gonna use that unit first instead of the other units because you know he's gonna kill it. So. you just change your play pattern and then just ignore him. But he might be really, especially in limited. I think he's going to be an all-star in limited. If they do a lot of bounty and capture, like it depends on the sets, but I do think he's going to be kind of like he might be first, like
draft king.
It could be that he's like first pickable, like something like if you're playing Gresham, you want him in your deck.
It's still something you have that has to change. You have to change your playstyle. Yes, you have to change your playstyle, but it's still taking something a little bit more out of your control. Facing this there as well. Okay, follow of the way, 2 cost vigilance. It's a Mandalorian unit, 1 power, 3 health. While this unit is upgraded, it gets +1/+1.
I kind of liked him when I read him. I can't remember why.
I think the fun thing that is if the opponent gives you a bounty, that's an upgrade, so you're gonna get stronger. It's gonna be easier. It's gonna be harder to kill him.
Yep.
Also, if you could figure out a way to give him experience tokens or like just a shield, he is all of a sudden not 2/4 shield, which is or
It's got a little bit of the blue villainy stormtrooper, the bike with grit, the 1/4 with grit. Where they get stronger. Not as strong as that one. But it's still got that flavor.
But like, if there is like some solid upgrades, like it's not gonna cost as much to put it on a weak unit. It's like when you put like upgrades on R2D2. It's like if someone kills it, it doesn't hurt you that much because you haven't invested so much in the ground in the base unit. It hurts way more when someone waylays an Obi-Wan with a lightsaber.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting. Like, again, it depends on if you want to play the Mandalorian. Like, if you want to play that, because there is a lot of in Premiere. There's going to be a lot of good 2-cost cards that you can play.
Yeah, he's not as good as the Marine in the Hero Green.
Exactly, but nothing is as good as Green and at raw stats.
yeah. But I mean, if you're going for a Mandalorian deck, or if you're going for
of course
for villainy, it's a first turn drop, which you have to deal with if you don't want to risk it being boosted and sticking around.
Yeah, or you play the new Vele on him when you buff him and you take the bounties.
All the bounties,
That's fine.
Or that. Okay, 2 more to go and then we can finish up. Tobias, you posted this one. It's the Pike Sentinel Villainy Vigilance 2-drop. It's a unit, Underworld, 2 power, 3 health, and it's just a Sentinel.
It's just so good.
Yeah,
it's just
why is it so good?
Like, if you playing blue villain control and you face Sabine or everything else that's just aggressive, if you can just because usually blue villain takes initiative turn 1, because then you spend your 3-drop on removal on their turn 1 play, but that means you're playing 1 turn behind them all the time, which is fine, but it's not good. But what you can instead do is just place this guy down, and now they need to hit him instead. So now you can spend your removal on their turn 2 play instead. So now all of a sudden, instead of being a turn behind, you're just half a unit behind, because usually they're gonna trade efficiently. They're probably gonna survive, but it's a weakened unit. So instead of being a full turn behind, you're just kind of a half turn behind, and that probably is going to give you 1 more turn in the end, which means if you're like playing Blue Vader or whatever and you want to get your Super Laser Blast at 8, like 1 more turn is a lifetime against aggro.
He's really good actually against most things. There is he's not happy to see Greedo, but most units are not. But he's still stalling him from not hitting the base. So I think Blue Villain does not really have that. So it's kind of scary because they have so much already.
Yeah. And again, like turn one Sentinel drop is just... That's what I'm thinking.
It's awesome. It's so good. You don't need initiative, which is just huge.
Yeah. And then the final one to talk about is Dr. Ivazan, which freaked me out when I read into the backstory because I never knew his backstory. I never knew it, but then someone posted the Wikipedia or the Wikipedia of the decraniated, and like, oh man. So Dr. Ivazan is a 2-power unit, cunning villainy. 3 power, 3 health, underworld. It's shielded. He has a bounty of ready up to 12 resources, which is just insane. Yeah, I mean the flavor. He's wanted up into 12. He's wanted in 12 systems. It's just, I love it.
Got the death mark in 12 systems. Yeah,
it's just brilliant. Like, what do you guys think of this one?
I think it's a sideboard material, right? If there is gonna be like some decks that are going after bounties, you just can't have him in your main deck. It's like a dead card. But like if you face other decks that doesn't really do that, you can sideboard him in, and he's like a mega power play, to take control early. So that's how I see him.
Yeah, I think that this type of unit could be an archetype where you can do villain aggro, which has really not been an archetype that's been around.
You mean Boba is not? No.
Yeah, not the same way. Like it's not it's not Sabine aggro, but like if you give this to Sabine, people would just go mental, because it's just like it's so hard to remove. And if you can get that down and just deal those, like you can usually get 6 damage from your 2-drop, and which is unheard of. And if you want to win at resource 4 or 5, sure, like that's fine. Like you give them whatever they want because you already won the game.
As long as you don't run into the new Waylay. That's why I feel like it's sideboard material. But if that is not played much,
it might be.
He might just be main deck.
Yeah, we'll see where he ends up, but it's super interesting card. The flavor is on again. It's just oozing flavor.
And I don't think many people are going to be able to ready 12 resources. It's going to be very
no.
rare.
It's more going to be around 3, 4.
Because it's going to be a first turn drop. It's going to be maybe something in mid game.
It could have ready your resources. It's just like that's the take. It says 12 there because it's wanted on 12 systems. It doesn't matter. Like just ready all your resources.
It has nothing to do with balance.
No, it's just awesome.
Basically, it's just that's the case. I mean, whoever gets the 12 resources anyway.
I want to collect that bounty. Like I want to again, like when I was a kid and my dad put on like the first Star Wars movies, and like you saw this guy and you have no idea who he was, but
you wanted to be him.
You wanted to beat him, which now you can. I wanted to do what Obi-Wan did when he was an older man, like just get this guy out of here. And now I'm going to be able to do that. Like it's just
And it's really interesting because I know because he's in Rogue One. You see him on Jeddah in one, and I'm just like, what's he doing there? And then if you read the Wikipedia about the decraniated, where he's wanted because he's a surgeon and he cuts off people's heads and replaces their brain and eyes with computers, and they lose their free will, which is just really disturbing. And I think he's in Jeddah because that's where he recruits people to get them off of Jeddah, telling them he can get them into safety, but then he kidnaps them, drugs them, and turns them into robots. Really, really dark.
It's not a good guy.
I know, exactly. And I'm just like, man, are you going to hear this backstory in any of the films? Probably not. No. I don't think Disney would do a Dr. Evazan miniseries.
Probably not.
That would be a bit dark. Anyway, we've gone way over time here, but I just not.
You just had to tell his backstory.
Of course, I had to tell his backstory. It's really fascinating and really dark. Love it. Great, cool. Tobias, thank you so much for joining and giving us an in-depth. We've got so much from our conversation tonight, so thank you hugely. We hope you come back on the podcast again sometime.
Thanks for having me. Awesome.
Adam, thanks a lot again for co-hosting.
You're welcome. Didn't do much this time.
Thank you for getting a better microphone as well.
Yep.
My editing time is going to go down quite a lot, so that's awesome. And thank you, listener, for tuning in. Find us on the Discord. Come support us. Give us support on the Patreon if you can and if you want to, and come and find us where you and tell us what you think. Yeah. We want that, and spread the word. Give us 5-star ratings. Like help us get out there. Help us be a voice in Europe for this game. There's a lot of voices in the US, and they're doing great content there. But let's help get the European scene going and spread the word about us. Thank you all so much. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
And see you later.